fist. The dungeon master's wrath with a dash of sick. I dash like Sonic Mad, not a pacifist, but pacifist the tracks when I'm rapping, kids. We the last of us, the master race. Take him with a master hand, it's cancerous. I hit him with the master sword, and sure I make a nice sword, but I wonder how 4 guys make a Triforce.
Hey guys, welcome to the Trinity Force podcast. My name is Adam Ponophobia Cogswell, and I am your host for this lovely evening. I am joined by 4 great guys after a week off for July 4th. Say hello, everybody.
Howdy.
3 gay guys.
He's including himself. He's great.
Including myself. Because I am such a great guy.
He is a great guy.
You're joined
and
by
he's
yourself,
joining himself.
I am
You're
joining.
joining yourself.
I am joined by the 4th great guy.
There you go.
$1
There you go.
Milwaukee's premium.
Milwaukee's best.
Premium.
I
$1 for 24 ounces of lovely, awful liquid.
Of the highest quality beer.
Here's to you, Mr. Cogswell.
Nice.
That's what happens when you're broke and you don't get paid for another day. And you ran out of beer because you spent all your money this weekend in Columbus.
I have no idea
Columbus.
what you're talking about.
$150 later.
Yep. Delicious German food and chicken and beer later.
What I would do when I was close to payday, but I didn't have enough money, I'd open a tab at the bar and just not pick up my card at the end of the night. And then go in the next day and pay my tab.
Don't they just close your card out, though, at the end of the night?
No, not if you leave there. And they take your card as collateral. And they hold on to it while you have the running tab. And then you walk out.
I always thought they
Then
closed
you come in
your
the next
card
day
and you
and pay
came
it.
in and got it.
And you say, oh, I forgot my card again. You know, ha, ha, ha. Pay it. Boom. Good.
Yeah. That probably worked in 1980.
Wow. I wasn't even born in 1980, just so you know. I'm not that old.
Well, you could have fooled me.
Well.
How Dom, how you doing?
Better than I sound, basically. My voice is, I don't know, something's going wrong with it. It sounds worse than usual.
It's called partying for the weekend.
I did party a lot this weekend. There were a lot of drinks consumed.
But did you balance that partying with healthy snacks?
No, I didn't. There was nothing healthy consumed. Like, I was driving up and we stopped, like, we were so desperate to find something to eat that I had to settle for Subway. And I just piled on as many veggies onto this thing as I could because I was genuinely worried that it'd be my last chance to eat a vegetable.
Well, you do realize that if you would have ordered the Nature Box, that you could have had really healthy snacks to ride with you all the way up to the UP.
That's true. I fucked up.
So you guys, if you're going on trips this summer, can also go order the Nature Box for $20 a month. You get a box full of snacks. What is it, 5 or 6 snacks if you're choosing?
You get 5 snacks for the $20 box, and you can add another snack bag for an additional $3 per bag.
That's not even that bad. $3 for a bag of snacks.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, so guys, if you want to go check out the Nature Box, you can always go to tinyurl.com/tforce nature.
You got it. Yep.
Doesn't even know.
tinyurl.com.
He doesn't even know.
I got it.
Got it. Yeah, he
Wait,
got it.
Shira, what was that link again?
tinyurl.com/tforce nature.
I'm not
I
here to
put you on the
remember
spot.
things. I'm here to eat snacks
That blew
and
up in my
talk
face.
League of Legends.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So guys,
I got my second Nature Box and I ate them all the day after I got them.
Wow.
So that $20 is really working out for you.
Every single snack was gone. It was great. The Big Island pineapple's awesome, and I really wish I could steal the sriracha cashew recipe because I would just make pans of that and become
You can just
the
learn to make
biggest
it
How
yourself.
do you afford to feed yourself?
I don't know.
He doesn't want to talk about it. Okay, what he does
I was gonna say.
during
What do you gotta do on
non-podcast
the side?
hours, what he does to feed his habits.
Hey,
Yeah.
I work.
It's none of our business. Yeah,
What you
and
gotta
you
do.
work.
It's the same
He's a
way,
working
you
man.
know what? Sometimes you have to
He's a
feed
pro.
yourself with really shitty beer, okay? And that's what some of us have to do.
You
Just
cut
like
back
you eat
where you
hot
can.
dogs and ramen and, 10 cents at a time. He can spend $1 and have a meal.
Lips and assholes. Sounds
I have
good.
a thing of ramen on my counter waiting to be made for dinner.
Okay, guys, let's talk some League of Legends then. So, you all know that everybody out there knows Battle Arena. You guys can go check that out. trinityforce.podcast.com. Along the top, there is a URL that you can, or a hyperlink you can click on, and that'll give you all the Battle Arena information that you need to know. So let's go talk about League of Legends now that we spent so much time talking about Nature Box and healthy snacks, because League of Legends is the most healthy game that you can play for yourself.
Oh yeah.
You've done better.
Yeah.
Not mentally though.
I am pretty disheveled today. I mean, I got these crappy headphones and no glasses, and
I know your earbuds broke.
blame Chira. So let's talk about Malachi. We're going to talk about a tree that got some buffs in 4.11. We talked about how good he was going to be. We've had some time to play him. Had some retrospective.
And we were right.
And you know what? I'm glad he's in the limelight a little bit here because I've been rooting for him for a while.
God damn it. I didn't.
You're
get
barking up the wrong tree.
All right, let's branch off of this, 'cause
I
these
think
have
we
been
should
just
leave
so many
Malachi
times.
alone because we've talked about him enough in the past.
What are you, sycamore puns?
Are you sycamore puns?
I'm just gonna hide behind my pop filter here.
Like me? See, I can pun.
All right, Chira, talk about Malachi.
So Malachi is exactly what we said he would be, a decent jungler and a great late game peel bot who surprisingly can go toe to toe with bruisers and tanks just due to the fact that he does a ton of damage to anybody that's building health by spamming W on them over and over again. I don't know. I really, really like playing him. He's not as all like balls in to try and start a fight or anything like that anymore, which was what he used to kind of be. Nowadays, you have to play him a bit smarter, but the ability to just be a peel machine for your AD carry and keep them alive while, you know, still performing that role that you play as the tree where you're tanky and annoying and you have a giant thing that explodes when people do
And
damage
he
in
does
your
damage
circle.
now.
He does damage. It's
I had a
great.
game last night. I was Volibear top, and who was I against? I was against Renekton. And then Maokai pinged that he was coming. I'm like, all right, whatever. Renekton was being a bully. And then he comes in, and I'm hurt. I just do one ability. I think I tossed him and slowed him, and then ran out of mana for my chomp.
That's all Maokai
And
needed.
Maokai comes in and just destroys
there.
him. Just two or three abilities, and his health just disappears. So that maximum health damage on Twisted Advance, I think, was what
Is really
made
good.
chunked him. So
Do you find that the ganks are significantly worse due to the range nerf on Twisted Advance?
Nope.
They're harder. They're harder, and you have to like kind of get into certain. You have to go a little deeper if you're trying to gank like straight off out of the lane, and your laners don't have any form of CC. Otherwise, if your laners have CC, it's basically the exact same thing.
yeah, and if your lane ally is doing the right thing and not telegraphing, he's not going to get a head start away from you anyway, and you're going to come running in.
You just got to be smarter about your ganks. If you're ganking top lane, try to come around from the back or come through a bush. You can't just run down a lane anymore with your Talesman of Ascension, you know, the sports Talesman of Ascension, and try to grab somebody right away. You have to be you just have to be a little further up front. You have to be a little bit more smart about it. You have to plan your W's more importantly, you have to plan them. But with a reduced cooldown on that, which is really nice, is how tanky he is, especially with his ult. They didn't change the mana cost on his ult, right? Like it's still the same. It's just attached to him.
Yeah.
Did they change it?
I just, at this point, when I've been playing him, I never feel like I'm running out of mana as quickly as I was before when I was dropping it. But that's probably because it's not down at the ultimate isn't on as long as it was before.
It's actually less. The initial cost went from 75 mana down to 40. So, although the channel cost didn't change at all.
You're not using it as sparingly, though, because it's on you instead of a certain area. So
See, I never felt like I had before you dropped it. It felt like it stayed there forever because you forgot about it. Now that it's always on you, you're turning it on and turning it off.
You
more
notice it
frequently.
all the time.
So I haven't really felt like I've gone with him quite as much as I did in the past. That might be a byproduct of Quill Coat though as well.
Well,
yeah,
it's probably
especially in the junk. Yeah.
a byproduct of Quill Coat and the fact that Iceborne Gauntlets is just so freaking good on him. Between the slow on that and his W, no one's ever getting away from him.
Do you
can really
need to
have
build
locked
the
them
slow
down,
on
right?
him?
You don't need it. I like it. I like it for the cooldown
He's got-
reduction, little extra damage.
Wait, are you asking? Do you need?
Do you need the
Were you
slow
asking
from-
if you need Iceborne Gauntlet on him?
No.
Are you saying?
No. I was more of like, do you really need to purchase that item? Would your
Okay.
would the money be better spent to a frozen heart than it
Yeah,
would be?
I was gonna say you're basically going after the frozen mallet syndrome.
Right.
That's
fine.
what you're accusing, Adam, right?
I mean, if you want to put it that way, sure. But yeah,
Well,
I
Well,
I
it's for
just
the
like it
CDR
on
and
him.
auto
It
attack.
helps out with that slight amount of slow you might not be getting if your sapling didn't hit somebody, and between it makes the difference between if somebody flashes away and your W's on cooldown and killing that person or not.
The reason
So
I have always liked Sheen items on Maokai is because his base attack damage is really high. And Sheen items scale based on that as opposed to, like Lich Bane or other types of scaling there. And so for Maokai, there's just kind of a supplemental synergy, I'll call it. In that respect.
I'm not upset by Iceborne Gauntlet. I can understand why you need to build it. You get the AoE slow when you go in there, and you can hit more than one person with that.
Right.
And then your Q can also go through and hit some different people depending on the direction that you push the skill shot. So I'm not upset with it. I was just curious if you felt that you really needed it, and if you'd be better off building a Frozen Heart.
I mean, I like both items on him. If I could have both,
Like if you got a Jax top, Yasuo mid, and an enemy Xin Zhao jungle, you might want the
no
Frozen
reason
Heart
not
instead.
to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he gets tanky enough with that ultimate that now stays on him that you could probably sacrifice after getting Cool Coat and some
Little
boots
bit
of
of
swiftness. You could probably sacrifice to
tankiness.
get some damage.
I can see that.
Picking up a
Wouldn't you
Sheen
want-
third item or fourth item.
What about
I-
Trinity Force?
Ganks are going to be just murdersome at that point if you can get it, and laning is still going on.
Just because he's not going down as fast, I really like Sunfire Cape on him too. Between a Sunfire Cape and an Iceborne, you really don't have to worry about any other damage items. In fact, some of the games I've even played with Dom, I might troll and finish out like a Rod of Ages just because Dom was like, you should build a Rod of Ages. But
His numbers are ridiculous.
yeah,
Man.
why not? I mean, it's for fun.
Well, Malakai's always been really fun to build as like a bruiser. Like Claude
Right.
just mentioned Trinity Force. He's been fun. You can build Trinity Force on him. It works. He synergizes really well with it. He just doesn't do damage into the late game. He does a lot of damage in the mid game, and then it goes up like a roller coaster,
And then it stops.
straight down.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I guess it plateaus, but you get what I mean. Because
So it doesn't really fall off late game now. Like
well, it fall off.
I've been seeing
like
him.
I said, it plateaus on it. Like you're not doing more damage, and you're not doing less damage.
I've
You
seen
get-
Maokai's banned a lot recently.
You get 100 AP and you increase Twisted Advance's max health damage by 4%.
Yeah,
That's kind of insane.
It was like the old saplings where they were 1-0 ratio.
They still have that.
I thought they dropped the ratio on it just a little
Nope,
bit.
they dropped the base on it. Ratio is still the same.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
No, his ratios are insane. Which I was gonna ask you earlier. Did you get a chance to play lane Maokai at all? You were sort of excited about that.
I haven't
Right.
played him. All I've been playing is AD carry. I played all day Monday and streamed it. You guys go watch that. I played top lane Master Yi a lot. And I have a couple of those games streamed. You can go check those out on youtube.com/TForce podcast. And I played a bunch of Ashe and Annie, so I never got to play him.
How about you, Sean? Did you mess with him?
I haven't played with him in top lane, but he's just top lane. Maokai was already good, in my opinion. This just made him better. But until
So
I play him
theoretically.
top lane, yeah,
You don't
The
know.
problem
what
is, I think he's going to have, like, if we compare him to Master Yi, for example, not what they do, but how that they're just weird top lane picks, and that Master Yi's going to have a better time against champions like Nidalee. Maokai can sustain against a champion like Nidalee. Master Yi's going to get pushed out early, but at 6, that's where that lane is decided, really decided. But with Maokai, it's not decided at 6. It's decided who outplays the other person under a turret, really. You know what I mean? Like those heavy champions you see now. Shyvana, Nidalee is what you've seen a lot. Jax. I'm trying to think. Renekton, of course, is always up there. And
Yep.
I'm trying to think of the other top lane champions. Crazy top
I mean,
lane champions.
Renekton's actually back
Gragas.
to. Oh, you're seeing Gragas more now.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
lots of
Gragas is playing it all the time. Top lane now.
Because at level 3 he can all in you, and at level 6 he can all in you really hard. Because he gets naturally tanky and he doesn't need the extra regen from the potions because of his passive.
And if somebody comes to gank and he can get a good ult off anyway, you're dead.
Right.
Did you said so Maokai, his win rate's been going up. He made it to the top 10.
Oh yeah, he's top 10. He's number 9 right now, I think.
So you
Very
can say
nice.
he's been growing.
Yes, he has been.
I would not say that.
Wow.
Oh man, we should take a picture of that sin there, and then write a paper about it. It could be a photo sin thesis.
So Skarner's win rate is at an even 50% right now.
Broke the silence. Yes. Oh, Skarner. Where was he before?
Oh, that's why Tom's face just stopped because he disconnected.
That's
He just
hilarious.
connected. I thought
Good
it
guy,
was just
Dom.
it was a good. It was a good
He
phrase
might.
for you, too.
What happened is he might have left because his brain just imploded.
It might have
due
killed
to
him.
Down.
the puns.
It might have killed him.
Well, let's keep moving on and talk about Skarner, and hopefully he doesn't make a lot of noise for Audacity.
I love the new Skarner. New Skarner's a ton of fun to play. He's really annoying. They just nerfed his damage a little bit, but he's still really good, and his win rate is, according to Dom, now a 50% win rate, which is
That surprises me that it's only a flat 50%. I wonder if it's because people are still trying to play him like old Skarner, the ones that are losing, or they might be going too ham with him at specific times in the game.
At the end of the day, 50% is what you want a champion's win rate to be anyway. So, according to the math, he's in a good place.
He's balanced. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in a good spot. But
I see him banned a lot too.
yep. Well, people just rather not deal with him, especially people that don't know how to
sticks
play
to you
against
too hard.
Skarner. That
can't shake
he's
him.
one of those people who is just, if you don't know how to deal with him, he's so annoying. He just seems overwhelming, which is hilarious. But he's a lot of fun to play.
So what do we think about? So we think that new Skarner balance. We should just could we play him with the? Okay, so maybe we should move this into the onslaught of Quillcoat and kind of talk about the new jungle item and how that has been affecting the win rates of champions. Kind of wish Dom was here because he has that in front of him. But I wonder if Quillcoat has been affecting a lot of these champions. Obviously, Pharaoh Flare junglers are no longer popular because they don't have time to farm up with the onslaught of the support
Right.
junglers. But we have seen more Nautilus, more.
Rammus.
Rammus is top apparently now.
He has the highest win rate.
Volibear I can see coming back. J4's top 15 again. So all those support style junglers are coming back.
Which is awesome, and it gives a bit more depth to at least jungle picks now. But I don't know. Ancient Golem isn't a thing you necessarily build on Skarner. Most people just get an Elder Lizard. I really like the new Quillcoat into Ancient Golem. I actually really like that item on Udyr, even though everybody is still so. Whoever plays him likes Madstone still. I prefer Ancient Golem on him just for more bear stance spamming.
I love the bonus health. The bonus health.
it's great.
And 60 health regen per 5 and 45 mana regen per 5. All you got to do is be in combat with monsters. So I've noticed even if you don't even have to worry about the order in which you kill them and having the, it doesn't matter. They're just you regenerate your mana faster than you use it on these tanky junglers because I've just noticed that. Sejuani, for example, I've been playing a lot of her lately with it, and it's awesome. Where I'd normally be out of mana or have to have blue buff, I don't have to anymore. I can give it to my mid.
Yeah, I'm still not. I like the item a lot on those champions I can gank heavily and really early. Nautilus comes to mind, and J4 especially. He doesn't have to build that damage because he can spend a lot more time ganking. Because he goes back and kill the minion camps just as quickly as he could before with the damage item like Spirit of the Elder Lizard. But now he's walking in there with the Quillcoat, doing the extra damage to the jungle champions or jungle monsters, excuse me, and then going back out and ganking.
Walking out with full health like it wasn't even a big deal.
Right. And it's clearing quickly. Have you been able to play any of those crazy or the new champions that we want to talk about that we're talking about?
I haven't played any Jarvan, or I've basically just been playing Udyr, Skarner, a little bit at Tryndamere jungle now.
Did you try Nautilus yet with this item? Anybody
I haven't.
try it yet?
I would love to. I love Nautilus. I don't know how much this really helped out his.
It
I
helped
didn't
out
like his
clear
early
a ton.
clear was just
Really?
so rough.
It's always been rough. It's kind of well. I think we talked about it when you weren't here, DeClaude. You may, if you listen to the podcast, you may have.
The original Nautilus jungle clear.
Just talking about the new start with having 4 potions. It makes it tough for a lot of those champions to clear now early. But once they've done that initial clear and they go back and they get the Quillcoat,
Then it becomes easy.
then it just becomes super easy for them to clear their full life all the time, and it's not a big problem.
I want to try, despite the effectiveness of Spectral Wraith, I want to try Ancient Golem on Diana. See how that works.
On a Mumu too.
She's one of those weird tanky assassin APs. I haven't even considered that.
Dom, we're talking about Quillcoat right now.
Welcome back, friend.
Yay,
Sorry,
welcome back, sir.
Sorry about that.
My pun killed you.
Yeah, it did.
It kicked
You
him
gotta
right
you
off
gotta
the
be you gotta be
internet.
careful with those going forward.
I know.
okay, man. They're
I'll dial
dangerous.
it back. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you best.
Yeah, we're limping through the conversation about Cool Code at the moment, so I feel like you had a little bit more to talk about that item or how you felt about it, because I know you brought it up before the podcast, yes or no?
No, because I'm not a jungler. I mean, grand scheme of things, it clearly solved a lot of problems. If you look at win rates on, like, I mean, Rammus is the winningest champion in the game right now. That can't be a coincidence.
It just seems really odd to me that he's been able to be that winningest champion, but I guess once you pick up that Quill Coat, at that point you can...
You have solved all of his problems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he can clear now. And so
Well, he
if
can
you need to
clear-
farm, you can farm.
You can use abilities without worrying about mana.
Yeah, your mana
it
comes
solves
back,
a
you know,
lot of
damage it.
problems.
And,
for
and
him.
you get Spirited Ancient Golem, and then you have a ward on top
Yep.
of all that.
And you have a ton of health. A ton of extra health. I've noticed that Sejuani, I hit pretty much 5k most matches because I built pure tank. It's like, wow, it's an amazing amount. That as soon as I buy that giant spell, boom, I see it jump up. It's like, whew.
Now, have we seen a Moomoo's
Love
win
it.
rate drop since this item came out? Or
He's
is it the
just
same?
below Rammus. He's
He's
we-
two.
So
Yeah, he's
still
number
high.
2.
He's always been high, right?
So he didn't move at all. Really. I mean, he moved his spot, or no, he didn't. What was he the winningest
dra-
champion?
He was winningest, I mean, he was always in like the top 3. I think he was winningest, but
Right. Okay then. Well, so
Yep.
we're all in agreement that Quote Code is a really
There
good
we go.
item, and that
yeah,
really
good
good.
item. Buy it.
It's
I mean,
good.
Jarvan is way up now.
we
Yep.
had just finished talking about Jarvan and how you can
Okay.
walk through the jungle and have all your life, and you don't have to build damage anymore.
One more thing. What about Elise? She's always built Golem even when it was bad.
Elise hasn't had.
She
It's still
jumped-
great on her.
She's still the same. It's okay. It didn't really give her a huge power spike because of its.
Now, here's the problem: are we going to see Evelyn anymore? Is Evelyn going to be a powerhouse still? Still a Q Nightmare / pro game.
I think
I mean,
so.
to me, Evelyn players need to have a game plan, and their team needs to understand the game plan that revolves around Evelyn at that point. She should still be able to be successful, but like you have to be aggressive with her, and your team needs to understand that and almost put her in a position to capitalize on that. I think we'll see her more in competitive level play because these are the players are at the very highest level of the game, and thus they are positioned to do that. I think in solo queue, she becomes less of a terror because you have all these tanky junglers running around otherwise who don't give a fuck about Evelyn. And the later the game goes, the less of a threat she becomes because she's not going to be able to burn through anything really by herself.
Her power's still in her ability to just negate wards when coming to a lane as well. And force counterplay. So I agree with Dom in that competitive play, I don't think we're going to see any real changes. We're still going to see her as a popular
We do
pick.
see her in competitive play. I bet
Oh, right,
we'll
I think
see
we
a
will.
stealth comp, though. I bet once Rengar is out of the banned prison, well, I guess it would say global ban prison because they've been banning him because of bugs after bugs.
That's the definitive ban prison there.
Yeah, I bet we do see we saw it in OGN. It was there was a Twitch Evelyn Rengar comp that we saw. We talked about it on GG Chronicle. If you go check out Chris's latest article, forging a new or Najin's new sword. I can't remember the name of the article.
Oh, yeah, you just posted in Twitter today.
Yeah. So he talks about
got
that. They actually ran a comp with Evelyn, Twitch, and Rengar, and it was a stealth comp. It was a 3-man blow up 2 people, turn the fight to a 3v5, and it didn't matter, the other 2 people you had on your team. Like I don't remember what they had, but you could probably play Nami and then I don't know Orianna into that comp, or even Twisted Fate or something silly.
Who played it?
Najin.
No, I mean,
Najin Black
Just
Sword.
Najin? That's it? Okay.
Najin Black Sword.
I mean, she'll work fine at competitive level play because the players are equipped to build strategies around her. But when you're trying to coordinate a team in solo queue, it's a lot harder to get, make sure everybody understands what they need to do with Evelyn on the team. And even understanding in champion select is different from executing it in the game itself. I mean, Eve is a fine champion. I don't think she's fundamentally hurt by any of this. But it's like, if you run into, I guess at this point, if I run into Eve, I'm going to be genuinely scared because she's no longer a flavor of the month pick. So it means like an Evelyn main got a hold of her, which is almost scarier.
So we talk about solo queue and how you know it's hard to coordinate and whatnot, but there's some champions out there like the Rengar and like the Evelynn. I don't think you need to be as coordinated as you might think you have to be because this comes from playing 12 hours of solo queue on Monday at at the gold. I was playing gold, Elo. That's where my Smurf is sitting at right now, playing mid low golds. And if any person on my team, including myself on Ash's AD carry, or even Annie, I was fed Annie, support Annie, I could carry a game by myself by just understanding where I need to be and my positioning. And if you are, like you said, if you're really, really good Evelynn, you could definitely turn that solo queue game around. So
right, that's all I'm saying is like I don't think Evelynn can just be picked up and be the game changer now by me.
Sure.
For example, I shouldn't pick up Evelynn. But the really good Evelynn players are going to already know how to do that, and they will be the difference maker just by virtue of having that champion. For exactly what DeClaude said, she just gets around wards and everything without issue. But it's no longer a case where Evelynn does that just by being in every single game because
she has specific counterplay you have to keep in mind. So, in that regard, that'll make her
that she can appear anywhere at any time and gank you, and your wards are useless.
Yep.
Yes, exactly.
Same thing with Shaco. All right, so that's the 4.11 follow-up right now.
Which this week are they playing on 4.11 in LCS?
2 weeks?
I think they are.
If it's been 2 weeks, they're playing on it.
Yeah. Okay.
I think this is the second week. I don't know. 4.11 hit just last Wednesday.
They did it? No, did it? Yeah, they wouldn't.
I remember them griping because they couldn't do solo queue to practice for Super Week because of 4.11.
That was the 410 patch. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So
Super Week's awful. Don't get me started on Super Week. All right. So Dom, what do we got in here? What's this caster marksman build path follow?
I would actually rather talk about that when my voice is not as shot as it is right now. Just because I kind of feel like I'll have to do a lot. We can if you want to anyway, but
it sounds fine.
Does your voice hurt? Is that what it is?
No, I have to cough a lot when I've been talking.
When you've been talking,
and then,
it tickles.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
we can just move into the last 30 minutes answering some listener questions and catch up on the mailbag. I know this episode's one of those one-off episodes where we haven't. It's kind of funny when podcasting. If we take a day off podcasting, or even it's been almost a week, you kind of lose your groove.
Or somebody DCs in the middle of the show, and everybody's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
It's been a while since that happened, huh?
Well,
yeah.
Hopefully, it never happens again. Don't let it happen again.
Let's
and your audio's been fine lately.
Yeah.
That rubber band.
Great.
Placebo rubber band there.
No, it's because winter ended and there is humidity back in the air, so static discharge isn't electrocuting me every time I touch a piece of metal.
Nice.
Well, let's shock some listeners with our answers. Bryce writes in, could you explain draft pick etiquette and strategy? Without going... Sorry.
You crack yourself up.
No, I can't. I cannot do that for you, Bryce.
Without going too much into counter pick or wombo combo comps, what are general strategies for picks and bans?
Ban the OPs or pick them if they're available.
Well,
the other strategy is leave a bunch of OPs open, so then they have to take one, but then your team gets two.
There you go.
See what I'm?
Blue side.
If you're in solo queue, in solo queue, the only strategy that you have is what Dom said. Is either leave a couple of them open and hope you get one of the two, or ban them all and hope you get ban the ones, just ban off champions, keeping like Jax open, and then you pick Jax if your first pick. If you're playing ranked 5s, that's a whole other story. That's a whole giant rabbit hole of how to pick and ban.
Yeah.
For example, first picking in draft pick 5s, or even at competitive level, Lulu is a really good first pick right now because she can go to 3 different lanes.
Right. You don't know how to counter her.
Exactly.
So yeah, when you're picking champions in draft pick, you want to pick champions. You can have a team comp in mind, but you always want variations of the team comp to be able to pick up as you go down, because you don't know what champions the enemy team's going to pick. And you also want to be able to be, you want to also pick champions that's not playing your hand early. So picking your AD carry and your bottom lane for the first 2 picks, if that's what you're picking, is a safe pick, depending on what you see with the enemy picks. If enemy picks Lulu, you can assume it's probably mid or top. So you shouldn't be picking your mid or top right away. You should now be picking your jungler and bottom lane if you can.
Or even if they open with a support, then you can go ahead and now you can let your support pick later on instead of just securing that Thresh or Leona right away.
Right. Even picking a safe jungler early, like a Lis or Lee Sin, is fine too, just because even if they try to counterpick you or whatever, they're going to be fine if they get invaded for the most part, as long as your team is able to, pay some attention toward what's going on in your jungle.
It's funny when you play with a group of people because everybody has different ideas for who they think is the best kind of first pick type of champion to go for. Adam tends to be a fan of getting the support picked right off the bat. Because irrespective of what the opponent picks, he likes the amount of time that buys for the rest of the team, because the opponent now has to pick 2 more champions. And all you've done is shown your support, and matchups in bottom lane are a totally different ball game than they are in the other lanes.
And with the OP supports like Nami, Thresh, I was trying to think. Shit, there was 3 of them that I was trying to think of right now. Give me the other one.
Braum.
That's it. Braum. Thank you. With Nami, Thresh, and Braum.
I mean, and Morgana for that matter.
And, and Morgana.
Yeah,
Morgana.
Definitely Morgana.
I'll even throw Karma in there, especially because you can take her mid. That's
She's
5 different champions
best,
you can pick that are good in almost every comp.
The only one that I would have a problem first picking is the Braum. I would rather pick my Braum with the 80 carry, because if you pick Braum, they might suddenly go, oh, well, now we need Lucian because you first picked Braum. We're going to take the Lucian away from you, and now you don't have that synergy in bottom lane, and now we're going to counterpick you again with Morgana.
And that's the other thing. You can usually pick Marksman first because it doesn't matter, and that's a good table setter for your comp.
Right.
Pick Lucian, pick Caitlyn, pick Kog'Maw. If you pick Kog'Maw, they know what you're going to build your comp around and everything, but there are a lot of fucking champions that can protect Kog'Maw.
I've becoming increasing fan of picking a ambiguous jungle or top and mid laner first now.
We've been saying that forever too. Just pick something that can fill multiple roles, or even learn to master champions that can fill multiple roles that way.
Who played today in OGN the second game? They actually switched. AD carry and support switched roles today. The AD carry played support, and support played AD carry at one point because they're better on specific champions. Like the one guy was better on Thresh, and the other guy was better on Lucian, so they just swapped and played opposite roles. So you can do that as well. If
It's really weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
That is weird.
Yeah, they had Thresh Lucian, so they swapped the roles in the bottom lane, which was funny.
Wow. Their main ADC wasn't first with Lucian.
I think he was just better on Thresh than the other guy was, so they picked, and they just let the other guy.
And the other guy was acceptable on Lucian.
More practice.
Pretty much. I don't know. You would have to ask Monty. I listened to Monty talk about it today, and I didn't really put too much stock into it because that's when work started blowing up. But
yeah.
For etiquette and draft, we want to talk how pick order is trumps call order, or
there you go.
Solo queue.
There it is. For solo queue, pick order trumps call order. If you are an earlier pick and you want to pick something that can carry, do it. But just understand that if you pick top lane Tryndamere or Riven and everybody else in your team picks something squishy and you have a jungle fiddlesticks, you're not going to have anybody tanky for late game engages.
Yep.
So that's as much your fault early.
Screwed.
Yeah, you hurt yourself early by picking a carry solo laner or something like that.
Speaking in general, I really hate it when I get into games with players and they're like, I'm only playing this champion. I'm not going to do anything else. Because it's like, congratulations.
Yep.
You have effectively limited the rest of the team and what they can pick. And then there are a lot of players who don't care. And so they will just pick nonsense around that champion. So you're like the last pick support. It's like, okay, I need to be tanky and have all of the crowd control and be able to roam and be, and deal all of the damage too. It's like you need to figure out how to do everything on the champion, with no gold income.
So,
exactly. If you see the top or the jungle pick someone squishy, and you're the top or the jungle alternate, don't pick another squishy. I mean, come on. The support can be kind of tanky, but even then, you need more.
Here's the deal: the support will get tanky, but they'll never be as tanky as somebody who's fed out of the top lane.
Yeah, it's better now than it was in seasons past, but trying to make the support the main tank for the team is just putting a bandage on the problem. It's not really addressing the issue.
Yep.
especially when there's assassins or people who like to dive the back line like Warwick, and you just leave the AD carry to die because you're engaging and there is no peel. That's my biggest gripe in solo queue, is that in lower elos people don't protect the AD carry ever. They yell at it's the same thing. AD carry, stop hitting the tank in the front line.
Oh God, don't
Tank
make
is the
me-
only one I can hit.
It's
The
the
tank is the
only
only one I can shoot, so I'm going to shoot the tank.
Everybody has heard that. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
I can hit the tank 3 times before I can move on to the next person, because you have now, like in football, made a gap for me to walk through and hit the other people in the back line. You know, my front linemen are moving people apart and allowing me to walk through to get to the people in the back. You have to create defense and peel for me to be able to do that. And as an AD carry, for those people out there, if those of you one of these people that have been bitching about this, as an AD carry, I'm also building to equip myself to deal with the tanks, and that's why I'm building a Last Whisper, because that's the only person I can hit.
A Last Whisper, a Blade of the Rune King, whatever you need to shred that tank, get him out of the way, and then follow up by destroying the rest of their team when they have nobody left to peel, because that Maokai, instead of peeling, is now diving you,
Yeah.
Right.
and he's dead.
Targets of opportunity, people. You know,
There you go.
That's the
don't
thing.
not.
I mean, it really
focus
is.
Well, what was it last
just
time we were playing
because he's
Arrow?
undesirable.
And I was bitching. I was like, it's really annoying that I can only get 2 shots off his vein on people, and then I have to switch targets and start hitting somebody else. Like, that's the problem with that's a problem. I'm doing air quotes with some of these 3 auto attack champions. Sometimes you can only hit 2, and you have to move yourself to hit somebody else.
Yeah, but I was really good bait for you last night.
Well, yeah. Yeah, because Dob played AD carry like he played support.
Yep, I was right up there in the front, so they kept going for me, and then Adam on Vayne tore him up.
Like Vade does. So
It's
yeah,
funny.
I think that's how you should approach draft picking. Just
The Trundle Lucian front line. That was good stuff.
I'm glad that you're enjoying yourself over there, buddy. All right, I think that answers that question. My microphone keeps falling apart. I need to get a new one. Dead Solo writes, "What do you think is the best way to learn jungling? How can I get a good grasp on jungling from normal games?"
JJ.
Jeez, how to learn jungle?
Well, you're gonna hate this answer. Just do it.
Yeah,
you
you gotta
kinda
do
gotta
it.
Just play it.
The Nike
Pick-
way.
Pick somebody that's really, really easy to jungle, like
Warwick.
Warwick, which is such a cop-out answer. Pick
No.
Skarner. Skarner is so easy to jungle right now. You could literally go to a camp and press Q over and over again.
That's true. Adam did jungle Skarner and
Yeah.
made it look like he was a goddamn pro at the game.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
He's good now. He fulfills that like tanky guy on your team
Can
who still does
initiate.
damage. Yeah, he's a perfect.
Scary as fuck if
perfect
you run
person.
into him by himself.
If you're
He
gonna
can
learn
out duel Rengar at an equal level in the
right.
jungle.
I think if you're going to learn jungle, if you have time, you should spend time watching junglers like Night Blue and listening to them. Go find videos from like Night Blue and go listen to what he has to say about just jungling routes and understanding how to maximize your stacks, because now that Quill Code is becoming popular, there are those conservation stacks. I think that's what they're called.
Yep, you're right.
And you want to maximize those to get the maximum amount of gold so that you have more gold income coming, more gold coming into you.
The biggest piece of advice I have to anybody who is ever going to learn to jungle or wants to jungle or has no idea what they're doing when they're jungling is you just try to stay, you just want to keep up with your team for everything, and you want to try and be at the right place at the right time.
Well, watch the minimap.
And exactly, that seems like it'd be more difficult than it is, but once you play the game enough, you kind of get an understanding of how certain matchups are going to go. And in a way, I feel like jungle gets you so used to learning what matchups are going to be winning and losing just because you get to see, oh, so-and-so is playing like a Riven lane into Renekton. Renekton can kind of bully her out early. If she can get an early kill, she's going to shove Renekton back. Something like that. Where you can you can see how a lane's going to play out.
So you start the opposite buff, so you'll be there by
Right.
the time you clear.
Or even like just knowing that, oh, hey, you're on the bottom side of the map, start red so you can finish blue buff second and you can gank top. If you're on, top side of the map, start blue so you can take red buff second and gank top.
If your
or
jungler can handle clearing the camps without blue
right
away.
And like that works for champions like Lee Sin who don't have to worry about mana, or
Right.
even Elise can do it because Spider Form's broken.
Well, let's give some basic like Journey to 30 style stuff for juggling. I think starting out you should always start where your AD and your support are at. So it's either blue or red.
That's the safest thing to do. Don't be afraid to use smite to help you clear. I like using smite to
40-second
execute
cooldown,
just
so.
for it's very, very short. I prefer using smite to execute blue buffs. Like I know what health will like between one auto attack will get me the kill with smite. Some people smite it early just so they can get the max damage out of it and clear it really quick. I like the execute on it just in case somebody comes in for a late invade and tries to fuck you up. But just, if you're a beginner jungler, you're probably not going to win a smite war at the end of the day anyway. You might as well use that smite to clear and try and create as much pressure on the map as you can.
I would also put smite on smart cast.
Yep.
And take it off of normal cast, because that half a second or quarter of a second or
It is
whatever
huge.
it is that takes you to hit that, you're looking at 80 milliseconds. So you have an 80 millisecond lag. That's almost a second of lag when you cast a spell. And if you have that extra click, now you're adding an extra 20 or 30 milliseconds onto your click. So
I agree with that.
yeah, I think that's it. If we're gonna talk about that, start where your AD carry is. Move over to Wraiths are easier. Wolves are harder. Wolves give a little more XP than Wraiths do. Both will get you to level 3 once you kill the second big buff, though.
Yep.
So you can just be a little bit ahead. And then, don't you want to clear? If I remember correctly, you want to clear your camps where you want to go. So you do let's say you do blue, wolves, red, race, white, wolves, golems, wraiths.
Well,
Wolves
race
type of thing. Like you want to move across the map so something is always spawning every time you walk
right.
back and forth.
It's you can do it that way. You can get it to where it spawns right around the time you get back to the camp as well. There's a bunch of ways to do it, but if you're just starting to jungle, I wouldn't focus on that as much as I would just trying to get your early clear down and then try to focus on making something happen somewhere on the map.
Let's say you're pushing for 4 as quick as possible. Blue, wolves, red, golems, wraiths, wolves. You got 4 pretty much the fast way you can. And what I like to do is on my way from wolves to the red buff or wraiths to the blue buff, I look at my time and I see how I did. Most junglers will look, okay, I'm at 229. I'm doing really well. Warwick, you're not going to get that because he's a slow, clunky jungler, but he's safe. You might be 239. So just keep an eye on that when you try different champs.
Starner is really the pick there. He's safe and he's
safe.
Much
he has
faster.
Great dueling potential. His clear speed is really good. He transitions great into a late game bruiser / tank. I just say he's a great all around pick, and he's a nightmare in solo queue if people don't know how to deal with him. That being said, if the enemy team picks Morgana, have fun if they're good at landing bindings.
Bindings or black shields.
Yep. You're not going to have a good time.
All right. Hopefully that's enough to get you started in here on how to get started with jungling. If you have more follow-up questions, you want to learn some more, email us and we'll probably give you an individual reply.
And great thing about learning jungling is you can do it in a custom game with no bots. So.
And it's a good way to practice and see your
practice.
time and see how you can clear faster.
Get a feel where you would end.
Get that down pat first.
All right. Malone Dick writes in, I have no idea how to play from behind when transitioning into the mid game. What do I do in the mid game when I'm behind? I feel like we've kind of discussed this over the last 3 weeks in bits and pieces. Not this question specifically, but we've talked about what do I do as I'm mid lane when I'm behind? What do I do if I'm a jungler and I'm behind and my lanes are feeding? Yada, yada. We've kind of touched on this a lot.
I mean, you really have to lock down your jungle from a vision standpoint, and the 2 main objectives on the map that aren't enemy towers. Because at that point you basically need to catch somebody on the enemy team being somewhere he or she shouldn't be, because that's what's going to start to close the financial gap between the 2 teams and start creating a window of opportunity. The last thing you want to do if your team is behind is start a team fight unless you have a brilliant team comp and they've been running split pushers or they're better for just little skirmishes.
Don't engage on equal ground or do a 1v1 or anything like that. You need the numbers advantage because you're behind.
And don't be goaded into getting in a 1v1 just because you ended up getting 1 item that you finished, even though somebody else is probably 2 items ahead, and you have that false sense of security that you're going to be able to kill that guy 1v1 now, even though he's 2 levels ahead of you and has 3,000 more goals.
I mean, frankly, levels is a big thing. Respect the level difference, because that extra point in an ability, regardless of where it is, that's a huge, huge deal in any
Not to
fight.
mention the extra armor,
All the other
heavy
stats are
stats,
big
just
too, but
health,
like
everything.
And remember the slow push with the minions. If you just kill half the minions in the enemy team and resist the urge to clear the entire wave, that'll allow you to focus more as a team on one lane at a time, because the other one will be slowly pushing instead of quickly pushing, hitting the tower, and then coming back, or them getting into the safety of their territory so that they can clear it, and then it's a ping pong and you're fighting for space. So
I mean,
that's
but
another
again,
little technique that
and I
it's
agree
hard to foresee.
completely. I mean, more than anything else, though, you have to ward. It doesn't matter what role you're playing at that point. If you're behind, the only way you're going to make a comeback is knowing where the enemy team is. So you can either catch them and now create a window of opportunity for yourself because you have a numbers advantage, or avoid being where they are because they're traveling in a group of 5. The only way you will do that is with vision.
I want to say respect your team. Respect what your team comp can do. If you realize that you have very good siege team comp, I've played, I don't know how many games I can tell you I've played where we've had, where the enemy team has been 20, 40 kills ahead, and they can't bust into our base because we have such good wave clear that there's literally nothing they can do.
40 kills ahead and they can't bust into your base.
No, the other day they were the one game we played with, like Malzahar or whatever. When
5 is, Malzahar.
They were like 25, 30 kills ahead of us at one time, and they couldn't bust into our base because we had such good wave clear.
It took them almost 20 minutes to kill one base inhibitor, and they like sieged that entire time.
Yeah, I remember that game. Of just that sort of seems like more of an extreme game. I mean, 10 to 20, fine, okay, but 40 kills, that's a lot.
I know, that is a lot. You're never going to see that
They
much.
should be able to deal
Ziggs
with that.
can do it
like,
too,
at that
even
point.
after his nerfs. So it
Right.
depends on the champions you have.
I get that,
If
but
you have
still,
good wave clear. I agree with
you
that.
have to
in there.
respect what your team can do.
Oh,
and if your
absolutely.
team can siege, there is no reason to start a fight unless they start one on you, and make sure you're doing it under a tower. So you have a 6th person on your team helping you.
Yeah, I mean, the basic idea then is you just wait for them to make a mistake. And that's really
While
where
you're farming up because they're pushing
Yeah.
the lanes or trying to siege. So
As
you're
long as
slowly
you-
catching up.
As long as you know where they are so you can be where they aren't, you should be able to be safe. And as a result of that, you can slowly work yourself back into that game because they're in the driver's seat. They're going to be the ones, who make the mistake.
And get some sweepers. I've seen so many games where everyone has their totem ward in the mid game. It's like, come on, you need to get some sweepers and clear it out and buy wards.
Especially if you're a jungler with Ancient Golem.
Yeah, Ancient Golem or Wriggles at this point, you have no reason to have a totem.
I've been playing Sweeper more and more. I can't tell you how many times Sweeper has been great. Playing with Wrecker, I yelled at him, like, you're a jungler with Quillcoat, why don't you have Sweeper? He's like, I'm just really bad about remembering to change it. You just have to make yourself remember that you can pick up an item to get rid of wards and upgrade it at level 9. Like, upgrading the Sweeper is just enormous going into those Baron fights at level 13 and 14.
And for a lot of enemy champions,
Yeah.
Twitch, Akali,
Twitch,
She hits a
Shaco,
Rengu.
sweeper.
yeah, Rengar.
Yep. Killing those wards, everybody likes to ward over the base walls when they're sieging. Killing those wards over the base walls allows you a little bit extra
Breathing room.
privacy.
There you go.
True.
It's a good word.
Yep.
We're keeping the curtains shut.
Yeah, right. You can't see where
And
I'm
if you
standing.
don't, if no one has a sweeper or you've used your sweepers and you know they just warded over the wall, don't hang out by that ward. Herp, derp, derp, and then just get
There's a
poked down.
ward here. There's
know?
a ward here. Running around it. There's a
Move to
ward
the
here.
other side. Let that ward zone you. That's fine. You're in your base. Doesn't matter.
Oh, that's great. All right, Malone. I hope that answered your question. So, Gorath, you are up next, and then the Eternity is on deck, and that's will probably
Mortal
hopefully
Kombat
maybe
throwback
not
there.
hopefully, but that might be the end. Gorath writes in, as a low elo player, is it worth playing highly mechanical champions such as Lee Sin, Lee, etc., and attempt to develop mechanics to play them? Or should I stick to simpler champions and develop those champions later on? I personally enjoy playing these higher skill champions, but tend to perform better with the easier champions.
If you ask me, just play what you're having fun playing. Like,
Yep.
we all get worked up about climbing the rank ladder and trying to become better and better players, and those are important things, and they help keep you interested in the game, but you're not going to want to play for very long if you're not having fun when you do it. So either the champion is fun for you, or I guess based on this, it's either you play a fun champion or you play a champion that makes you more likely to win a game. But I don't know. I would rather play a fun champion and lose than play a boring champion 5 games
Right.
in a row and win.
That's what you weigh. Do I want to play a boring champion? Do I have more fun winning with a boring champion or losing with a more
High
difficult
skill
champion?
cap
Well,
champ.
here's my thing. with
Or
that.
will you get better and start winning with a high skill cap champion win-win, you know?
I agree with you guys, but I also want some people to keep in mind that you should be focusing on other game mechanics first and foremost. More than likely, if you're a low elo player, your mechanics aren't at the point where you can play those high elo champions because you haven't mastered orb walking, or you haven't mastered skill shots, or you haven't mastered ranges or last hitting. You haven't mastered understanding positioning. Like, there's so many little different different techniques in this game that you can learn, that if you learn orb walking, suddenly you're a Vayne master and you didn't realize it.
Yep. I don't feel obligated to play high skill cap champs just because your favorite LCS players are doing it.
And the flip side is, if you're playing a high skill cap champion, don't try to play like your favorite LCS player. Like if you're playing Lee Sin, you don't have to emulate Insect. You can do a lot of different things on Lee Sin that don't require the Insect level insanity.
You have to insect all the champions at 80 ping. It's impossible, but you have
Don't.
to do it.
Don't listen to Adam. He's full of shit.
Kha'Zix is an
Dom is
insect.
right. So continuing on, if you are playing if you really enjoy playing Vayne, just realize to get better at Vayne and get better at other AD carries. You might find that you actually like playing Ashe better than Vayne, but that's because you learned orb block. But then you realize that orb blocking works better on Vayne because of the increased move speed and tumbling and whatnot. So there's a give and take. Ashe really isn't a good example there, but maybe you'll find that you like having to initiate and playing a support better. A support AD carry rather than a carry AD carry.
Just play what's fun. If you're not enjoying it, you shouldn't be playing it.
Yeah, play what's fun.
And you know
work
what?
your mechanics.
If you have a lot of fun playing Lee Sin, it means you're probably doing okay. Because if you're sucking on him horribly and you can't hit your skill shots, you're not having fun. Unless you're a masochist or something.
Just play top lane Master Yi.
So.
I mean,
and raffle Q
Go
off
from there.
everybody.
Everybody knows I play
still have that.
Alistar. Alistar is in a pretty rough spot right now and everything, but I keep playing him because I enjoy playing the champion. It's just
aren't there
fun.
changes
You
to
say that.
Alistar?
You say
There are.
that. There's changes to Alistar. And it's not like Afromu hasn't been doing some pretty interesting
Right.
shit with Alistar
I mean,
lately.
like,
So
you
get
can
out of
be.
here.
No, I mean, you can be a. It's.
I agree
come
with
on,
Dom.
Dom
He's
is
for the
doing some
LCS
stupid
players.
in a
Yeah.
bad spot.
I do all kinds of shit on Alistar and everything. There's nothing wrong with my Alistar play. The champion itself irrespective of me,
Right.
Afro, anyone else, he's in a bad spot. There are PvE
Comparative
changes.
to
I
others.
will. He has the second lowest win rate in the game right now. Come on.
How sad are
I
you
hate
right
his
now?
mana management. That's the one thing I hate about him.
And that's what they've
Take a
changed
look
on
at
the PvE. And I'm sort of like, don't you guys remember what happened last time? His mana
yeah.
costs were really.
He's walking on the edge of a
Manageable.
blade right now.
All right,
I
Gorak,
mean,
let us know what kind of champions you playing, and if you've gotten better at it since you've written into us. The Eternity writes in, there is too much CDR and support items. No matter what
I
build path I
agree.
go, I'm always over the cap. How do I go about itemizing or buying to fix this? So before we get into talking about this, I think it's hilarious that people bitched about support items not having the right stats or not giving you the gold you wanted, not having CDR.
They needed more CDR.
And now there's just too much of it. We gave you what you wanted. Quit bitching.
You know what? Free stats, you wasted stats. People, it sucks to have wasted stats, but you're building the item for the other stats. So if there's no
You're
better
building the item for
alternative,
active.
the
usually.
CDR is just gravy, okay? Just
yeah, I
aim
mean,
for the actives and the other bonuses.
if you're super hardcore, you can sit down and try to crunch out the exact item combinations that are going to get you to the CDR cap and no further. But that sort of locks you into a specific build path that isn't necessarily what's going to be best for your team. Honestly, I just say don't worry about the CDR and worry about the things that are going to help your team win the game. Gold efficiency is important, but it's not. I mean, it's not. One stat is not going to define whether or not your team wins.
Well, near the end of the game, gold efficiency isn't nearly as important as it was at 15 minutes into the game.
Right.
So
Maybe this opens up your runes and masteries a little bit more, too.
oh yeah, I don't run CDR at all on my masteries
Yeah,
anymore, and I
I used
used to
to.
all the time.
Lose, but no more, yep.
I mean, I do, but that's because even not as a support player, you like it's late game where you finally hit the CDR cap and everything. But through mid game, you're not going to be at that point, and that
Right.
extra CDR is especially helpful in the early goings.
Only if you have the mana to use the CDR.
Right, you got to know how to manage your mana.
I think it's a whole nother conversation that could get very
Yep.
long and, and in depth.
Go like my
Offense.
Alistar page. Nothing but mana and mana per vibe. That's it.
No armor, no health.
My
Nope.
Alistar
No
page,
armor,
it
no
is-
health.
it
All
is
mana
not
and P5.
that.
Yeah, that my Alistar page is not that either. I actually need to make a new support page and have some move speed so I can play Alistar.
Oh, I have an Alistar specific, and it's just mana and mana per vibe.
Declaud,
My
you
Alistar
are like
page is-
if you weren't Declaud, if you weren't on the edge of platinum right now, I would just rip you a new asshole for the way you play this game. But
I'm
like
telling-
you just prove that it doesn't fucking matter what you play or how you play it as long as you have a good mechanics.
And isn't
Hey,
that
and-
what everybody's been saying forever anyway?
Yeah, I think it's hilarious. Like
It's specific strategies. You know, you adjust how you play
It's-
with your builds. So
It's funny watching you play the game, and then like you can tell when your MS kicks in and it's really started to happen. Because like you'll start getting hit by all of just these obvious skill shots because there
You'll
was
see me
nothing you could do
flash.
to jab it.
Yeah,
or
flash
you'll
in mid-lane.
randomly flash,
Derp.
or your skill shots go flying in some kind of weird ass direction.
they look like big, strong hands. Don't
God
they?
damn it.
No, we played with my brother one day, and he's like, I don't understand how Declaud is so high rated when he keeps getting hit by those skill shots. Well, he has MS. Oh, it makes perfect sense. And wow, he's a really good player then.
It's like adjusting for lag. If
It
you're
was-
used
it
to
was-
lag, it's
It
IRL
was
lag.
the other day we were playing, Sean, you remember that? Declaud's like, yeah, I can't click anything with my hand anymore. I have to manually click all my
Yeah,
skills.
he's like, I have to. I
couldn't
can't
use my left hand on the
anymore.
keyboard, so I did everything with the mouse.
We're just
but, you
like,
know,
how are you even
right.
playing right now?
You gotta have a passion for the game. I'm telling you,
That's
no
funny.
passion.
All right, well, I think that's going to kill the podcast, guys. No new announcements I have for the end of this podcast. Sorry that we forgot to kind of tell you maybe a little bit that we wouldn't have a podcast this week. But for the foreseeable future, we'll be doing 2 a week. Days Untold, a month away, should be on the podcast. How exciting is that? Is everyone ready for a
nice.
new guest?
Oh yeah.
Is she a guest or is she a new host at that
Well,
point?
she's gonna. Well,
She's gonna
let's
have
put
a
it this way:
trial
in less than 24 hours, my life might dramatically change, and this podcast might dramatically change.
Don't
because
jinx
of it.
it.
Yeah, you're.
I said might. I said might.
Yep,
I don't
yep,
know.
Leave it there.
Might.
No more details.
So,
but it's gonna be
So
awesome.
yeah, it'll be.
It will.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Not
Okay.
even God can stop from changing. Just to
my
some-
life's
I don't
not
jinx
changing
it
at all,
for you.
guys. My,
Well,
my
good.
life's
You
fucking
guys,
safe.
the three of you, continue to do a podcast together, and
It's actually
you gotta-
not
you gotta
true.
still
I'm
quit.
I'm moving.
You gotta add that to your responsibilities.
That's a
Adam.
pretty big deal.
that's why I'm trying to get days on sooner. On
She taking
nights,
you up.
getting days on nights. Haha.
Oh God, I hate you.
So wait, we're still waiting for days. All right, sounds good.
Days and
Guys, thanks for
days.
listening to the Trinity Force podcast. That was episode number 175. We will, whatever, see bye.
All right, good night.
So yeah.
Again.
It's 176 of the podcast. Screw everybody listening live on Twitch. I said it wrong!